You know that saying, a solution looking for a problem? This phrase is usually used in a condescending way, almost as a description of something that can never succeed. But what if looking for a problem could be an active thing you could actually do with your product? What if you could go into the world with your solution in hand and actively, methodically look for a problem it can solve that people will gladly pay for? Hey, my name is Eli Feiner, and I started Growth Lab because I noticed a pattern. Despite every business book claiming you should always start with a problem people are willing to pay money to solve, engineers like me always start with a solution they think the world needs. And when I say engineers, yeah, I'm talking about myself first and foremost. In my 25 years as a developer and entrepreneur, I built many different products. Most of them seemed like amazing ideas in my head, but they went absolutely nowhere. They went nowhere when I tried to bring them into the market. When my last idea, an app called Would You, also went nowhere, I decided to finally figure this thing out. So I poured over dozens of books about business, marketing, entrepreneurship. I was looking for basic principles. What makes a business work? What makes a product sell? What creates success? Is there a method to the madness, or are we forever doomed to throw things against the wall until something works? Glimpses of ideas kept coming up again and again and again. Start with the market. Start with the audience. Start with the problem. Don't build until you know who you're building for and what pain you're trying to solve. Start with a landing page and some ads to validate your product. Start with a community of people talking about their problems and then solve for that. Almost every piece of advice seemed to point in the same direction. Drop whatever you've built and start from scratch. Do it right this time. Start with the market. And yet, something kept nagging at me. Is it possible that my intuition is completely random? Is it true that whatever ideas I come up with in my head are meaningless and have no place in the world? Isn't intuition just a way of my mind to integrate these little pieces of information into a coherent whole? Doesn't my internal sense that a problem needs to be solved point to a real problem that does need to be solved? Something finally clicked when I read a book called Obviously Awesome by April Dunford. This book is about something called positioning, which at the time seemed like a fluffy marketing term, almost devoid of content. Maybe a way to weave a story about a product to somehow make it more appealing. Kind of a way to lie more effectively, which I still sometimes think marketing is all about. But Dunford had a more concrete idea about positioning. Sometimes, she says, you build a product intending for it to be one thing for one group of people, but it turns out that it's a much better thing or much better fit for a completely different group of people. She tells the story of a company she used to work for that was building a database engine like Postgres or MySQL. Their most distinctive feature was the ability to run massive queries really quickly, but they lagged behind their competition with data storage and recovery features, and they were barely selling. After many disappointing sales meetings, one customer finally articulated what was going on. He said, "You guys aren't really a general purpose database, you're more like a data warehouse." Realizing they've been chasing the wrong market and the wrong positioning, they rebranded, chose a different category to compete in, data warehouses, and won hands down as a data warehouse. Not to mention they were now selling at much higher margin. So how is this relevant to us bootstrapping indie hackers with our own small products that we spent months or even years building with passion and determination, only to find that we can't sell any? Take a long, hard look at your product and the problem you claim it solves. Can it solve a different problem for a different audience? Can your journaling app become a distraction-free writing tool for aspiring novelists? Can your generic no-code landing page builder become the go-to website creator for florists or jewelry artisans? You might need to add some features or take some features away. You may need to change the way you talk about it or significantly narrow down your potential clients to a much smaller niche. You may need to try a few different problems until you find one that works, but I can almost guarantee it's out there. Your fit is out there. And if you're not sure you can do this alone, you can join a Growth Lab cohort. You'll work with a small group of people who are working on similar projects. You'll figure out how to break your projects into features and benefits, how to find profitable niches, and how to quickly test which one you should focus on, without writing any more code. You'll find the right problem and a few paying customers, and it's only going to take about 4 weeks. You can find more about this at growthlab.so, and there is a link in the description. That's all I have today, and see you next time.